Hi, everyone. My name is Jasmine Jennings Gonzalez. I am from the Illinois Student Assistance Commission, also one of the network organizers of what is now called the Illinois Education and Career Success Network. Not too long ago, in 2021, the network established the Network Student Advisory Council to gather feedback on how students experience various initiatives that the network supports and understand what kinds of supports would be helpful to students as they navigate the education system. The Student Advisory Council is comprised of 13 students from across the state of Illinois, and today we have 5 wonderful Student Advisory Council members here with us. We have Olivia Hendricks from Belvedere High School. We have Joshua Hernandez from George Westinghouse College Prep, Iris Montoya from Wheeling High School, Corel Bennett from Evanston Township High School, and Joanna Renedo from North Chicago Community High School. Throughout the session, we will ask students a series of questions on their experiences in navigating the education system as they consider their choices for life after high school. Without further ado, I will pass it on to my colleague Caroline to start us off.
Thank you, Jasmine. We will start off with asking the panel to please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about yourself, your school, and your community. What do you appreciate the most about it? We will start with Olivia, then go to Iris, then Corel, then Joshua, and conclude with Joanna.
Hi, my name is Olivia Hendricks. I'm a sophomore at Belvedere North High School. I love my community a lot. We're a fairly small community here in Belvedere, very farming centered, but that makes us very close knit. And so everyone works very well together and everything that we do is for the greater good. And I'm very, very happy to grow up here. And I think that our small community is what makes us stronger.
Hello, everyone. My name is Iris Montoya. I attend Wheeling High School. I'm a current junior. And something I really like about my school and my community is how diverse we are. We truly have someone of every background here and of every culture and everything. And it's just very welcoming and inclusive here.
Hi everyone, my name is Corel Penne. I attend Evanston Township High School. It's a northern suburb of Chicago. I would definitely say that one thing I love about my community is just like the amazing opportunities that we have at school and the surrounding Evanston for community service and volunteer, like ways to get engaged and like uplift the community. Right now, like I work at the local animal shelter and it's like a really nice, so it's serotonin boost when I go there every week. And there's just lots of resources like that here at Evanston.
Hi, my name is Joshua Hernandez. I'm currently a junior at George Westinghouse College Prep. What I really appreciate about my school is that we have a lot of opportunities that give people a chance to develop their overall character, and they also expose us a lot to careers that we take interest in. It's one of the main reasons I decided to go to this school. But aside from that, I really appreciate how extremely supportive the teachers and the staff are, and always are there for me when I need anything.
Hi, my name is Joanna Renedo and I'm from North Chicago Community High School. What I appreciate the most about my community is how we're always helping each other out. We're kind of small and we know most people we see in school, so whenever someone reaches out for help, we don't hesitate to take action. And if someone needs help either academically and financially, we always either help each other out or we give resources to each other that will help us.
Thank you all for introducing yourself and providing us with a better insight on your school and your community. As you know, the last 2 years have brought some challenges to the forefront. How have these challenges, either COVID or non-COVID related, how have these challenges affected you personally or your educational experience? We could start off with Iris and then go to Olivia and then Joanna.
Okay, so the past 2 years for me have definitely brought some new challenges mentally and academically for me. During the two e-learning years, it definitely brought my motivation down for school like completely, and I lost motivation for anything. And then coming into my junior year in person, it was a lot of pressure because junior year is your most important year, and it was just very hard for me mentally and academically. Non-COVID wise, there was a lot of losses around me. Recently in my NJROTC class, we lost one of our cadets, and it was a very hard few days for the entire unit because we are so close. And it has been one of the hardest years that I've been to school in.
Obviously, COVID has become a very prominent issue within our society, but I think that being a teenager, it's been incredibly difficult. I mean, it started when I was in 8th grade, so going into high school was an experience that no one has ever had before. I went into high school online, and now I was partially in person, partially online, and everything is different than how it used to be. And it was scary. I mean, it took a mental toll on me and a lot of people, not knowing what parts of school you were going to understand, how you were going to be able to pass your classes. We lost a lot of time in a lot of our curriculum, which felt like I was at a disadvantage in my academic career because I thought I wasn't getting the same experience as other people. And it's been quite the guessing game of how or when things will change, will become normal, will get worse again. And this is not how any child expected them to start growing into adulthood and being a teenager. So it was very scary to be dealing with these things that no one has ever dealt with before. And because of that, you had no one to turn to that knew what was going to happen.
For me, one of the COVID related issues I had to struggle with was getting COVID and having to deal with that while also doing virtual school. Last year, my family got COVID because my dad, he has to work inside and he's the only person in the house who works. My mom is unemployed, and that puts a lot of pressure on him and the rest of us. And so in turn, I got a job to help provide for my family because I didn't just want it to be my dad, but that also did lead to it affecting my studies. I didn't have as much time to study uh, for tests or exams or anything like that. But I was able to find a way, but it was still a struggle. Um, my family's also having issues like personally with each other, and people were constantly in and out of the house. It overall left me feeling like I didn't have a stable home environment, which also affected my studies, especially with transitioning from virtual to in-person school. It all felt a little too fast for me.
Thank you all for sharing your insight on what challenges you are facing what challenges you are facing during these last 2 years. Our next question is on a similar line, but more specific to planning for your life after high school. That is, what challenges did you face or are currently facing in planning or making decisions about your life after high school? Also, we are curious to know if these challenges have influenced or impacted what you've planned for yourself for life after high school. We'll start with Corel and then pass it on to Joshua.
Definitely the most prominent challenge that I faced for planning for life after high school was just not knowing. Like as a junior, I didn't know what major I wanted to be in. I didn't know what school. Everyone was telling me that I should have this idea of like what's a perfect school, a perfect college environment for you, and I just like didn't have one. And so I started my college search like very late when people were already applying. And I guess that kind of made me already be behind on my college apps and all these things. And I felt like I was rushing to catch up with my peers who knew kind of what they wanted to do, like knew their career paths already. And I, like as a junior, like as a senior who was applying, felt like there was something maybe like not right with me if I didn't have all these things planned out. So that was definitely a challenge. And currently, like after I've already applied and I'm hearing back from schools, a major challenge now is just like financial aid, and am I going to get a good enough financial package to be able to attend the school without having to worry about having to get a job and things like that. So that's definitely another challenge. And the third one I would say is just kind of fearing the future and being away from my family for the first time, being away from my friends. I'm a very independent person, but I guess being alone as like my three sisters are already in college, so being alone with my parents is already kind of lonely. So heading out on my own, I can't imagine like what that's gonna be like. And yeah, we're just gonna go from here.
For me, a great challenge that I face for planning after high school is a lot of anxiety and overthinking. I tend to overthink like almost every decision that I've made. At my school, we've already kind of started like college planning, and just every decision that I make or that I think about making just gives me anxiety. Like, and thinking about what's to come just gets me really nervous. And um, even thinking about whether or not you get into the college that your ideal college, it's super nerve wracking because you can have your heart set on one thing, but it might change in the end. Um, for me, this hasn't changed my planning. Because of the support system that I have, they've made me super confident in my choices, but that doesn't really defeat the anxiety that yeah.
Yeah, that pressure of choosing what to do after high school, it is a lot of pressure, sir. I hear you all, and my heart goes out to you all, and yeah, thank you all really for being open and vulnerable and sharing with us the challenges that you're currently facing. It's not easy, so I really do appreciate you all being vulnerable in that. Um, yeah. And I know it could be challenging to plan for life after high school and making those difficult decisions and overall life. So yeah, I appreciate that. On the flip side, and thinking about these challenges that you all describe, what has helped you combat or cope with these challenges you're facing? We can start with Olivia, then go to Iris, Corel, Joshua, and finish with Joanna.
Personally, something that's really helped is that I got a therapist for the first time. I started regularly having meetings with her in order to try to cope with these things and my emotions and the fear of the future that I've been facing so regularly. And also just meeting with others who have gone through the same thing or even just completely different things has helped me to connect with them and understand that there are people who understand me and I can be there for other people. And being able to be that rock for someone has been a very important thing for me. Connecting with others is something that I really value, but human connection isn't something that we've had a lot the past 2 years because of COVID. We've been quarantined, we've been social distanced, we've been wearing masks. There was a lot less of that interaction that we used to have on a daily basis that was gone. So being able to communicate with these people again is just something that's made things a lot easier. But also, my family has just been such an incredible support system through everything between academic challenges, career challenges, mental health issues, but most importantly, my mother. There is no issue that I've ever faced that my mother hasn't helped me with. And with the past 2 years, our connection has grown so much, and I can't imagine trying to go through absolutely anything in my life without her. So I think that my family was probably the biggest way that I was able to cope with the fears, anxieties, and the future that I didn't know what it was going to hold.
So for me, something that has helped me through these past years is getting closer to my NJRTC family. When I go to that class, I'm always like excited to see what we're gonna learn about or what my friends are gonna say, because it's always just a joy walking into that class. And definitely with the recent passing of our one of our cadets, we got really close because a lot of us knew him or had just gotten to know him, and it was just a tragedy. And our instructors really are the best. Senior Chief Cotillier and Lieutenant Colonel Bayer are probably the best teachers in the building, and they really have such a personal connection with us, and they try and do everything for us. And I mean, I really like that class, and it's just been an amazing 3 years, and next year will be my last year. So hopefully everything will be fine by then.
I would say that a way that I've dealt with these challenges is mostly thanks to my Evanston Scholars mentor. So Evanston Scholars is this college preparatory program that I take part in at my high school. And so my mentor was kind of there. She was there for me. She was the person that I went to if I was feeling overwhelmed with like my sports and my grades and kind of like the not knowing that I talked about earlier, like not having an idea of what my future held. Because sometimes when I felt like stressed in the middle of class, I would get like kind of this really anxious feeling that would bubble up out of nowhere of like, oh my God, if I don't do everything perfect like right now, then my future is kind of gonna go off the rails. And I guess in that moment, I like reality felt very overwhelming. So I would go to her, and since I talked to her about like every aspect of my life, school and like personal, she kind of had the scope of all of it. Because I couldn't really talk to my teachers because they didn't understand like what's going on at home, and I couldn't talk to my parents because they couldn't understand what's going on like at school. And so having her was like really, really helpful, like emotionally. And I guess academically, my college and career services mentor, well, not mentor, she's like a staff, but I had a staff member, her name was Sis Cooper, who I went to her to help me with a college application, and she actually sat down with me one on one for like an hour and 30 minutes to go over, okay, why do you want to go to the school? And like, how are we going to make sure you have the best application possible? And that was the first time I ever had like a school staff member put that much input and that much like one-on-one attention to me and to like my personal and academic like well-being. And so that really just gave me a lot of, how you call it, a lot of like self-confidence to be like, okay, there's people out here that are rooting for me, and like she thinks that I can do it, and I know that I can do it too, like if she believes in me. So that was definitely like helpful, having people like root for you.
For me personally, what helps me combat the challenges that I face is actually like utilizing and maximizing the usage of the resources that I have that are provided and that are available to me, whether it be through my school or at home or just anything at all. I think that this is like really important because a lot of people are afraid to ask for help, and they might think that a question that they have is like a dumb question and they never find out the answer for it, even though it might have been something really important. So I feel like asking for help and learning how to like just swallow that pride that you may have of not looking like dumb in front of other people, I think is really important. And so, yeah.
For me, one of the things that has helped was talking with my friends. It really helped me feel like I wasn't alone in what I was experiencing and that they too were going through similar things. It helped me form a friendship that was beyond just having common likes and dislikes, but rather having shared experiences, like sharing that out with them. It really helped strengthen our bond. And also just with like talking with my teachers, it was nice to have a support outside of my family to talk about my day or school with. I felt like I mattered whenever they asked me how I was doing or noticed how tired I was from doing an all-nighter the day before. I love the teachers and staff here and how understanding they have been with the transition to in-person school. One of the people that stuck out to me who has supported me a lot throughout the school year has been my coach, my Schuler coach, Jacob. He was there for me when I needed to talk, and I felt very open enough to talk to him about anything from school to my family life. I found it very helpful to have him there to support me during those tough times, and I'm very grateful for having him as my coach.
Thank you all for sharing about what has helped you cope with the challenges you are facing. Along similar lines and thinking about your journey, how have you been supported to plan for life after high school? These can be resources or experiences that have supported you on college and career exploration, preparation, or planning. We will start with Corel and then pass it on to Joshua.
So in terms of resources and like academic planning, I would also say Evanston Scholars has been a major help. The program as a whole really functions towards like giving the scholars all the resources that they need to be prepared for college. And so that includes like weekly, not weekly, monthly workshops where the scholars attend and we kind of learn everything we need to know about how to look for scholarships, like how to set up a portal when you finish applying to college, how to fill out your Common App, like how to fill out your FAFSA, all these things that if you don't have an older sibling who went to college or maybe your parents don't really know how like the signing up and like application process happens, then like Emerson Scholars has everything that we really need to know. And it's really easy to like talk to them if we have any questions. They write us recommendation letters. They ask us how to like ask our teachers. They tell us how to ask our teachers for recommendation letters and all these things. They help us set deadlines. And for me, like my mentor, each scholar has like a cohort with like one mentor for like 7 scholars. And so they really get to know each scholar personally. And so my mentor kind of understood that I would pack way too much on my plate and I would get very overwhelmed. So she helped plan, she kind of helped teach me how to like plan out my schedule and make a timetable, but also set scheduled breaks within my timetable so that I'm not just always like go, 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 trying to get everything done in one day. So that was definitely helpful, like seeing, okay, I have time to do this later. So let me just take a break right now so that I have that energy to finish it. That was like a really, really nice, like useful skill that she taught me that I will continue to use and like improve throughout the years.
A main resource that I have is a program called the Schuler Scholar Program, which is offered through my school. So they've helped me a lot with like providing resources for planning after high school. They provide a lot of different things. Like they made us a document that helps us find like our ideal characteristics and whatnot for like for colleges that we're looking at. And they also provide a lot of opportunities and exposures. For example, in the spring, I'm going to be visiting, they're sending me to visit 3 different colleges in Ohio. And in the summer, I'm doing this summer college program at Johns Hopkins, which will allow me to basically live life like a college student, give me that college experience. So I'll be taking college classes, living in dorms, just figuring out my own schedule and just living the college life. So the Schuler Scholar Program has definitely been a huge resource to me in planning after high school.
Yeah, those programs sound amazing. Only if like those programs could be everywhere, in every single school in the state, that would be wonderful. So I thank you both for sharing those 2 amazing programs, and the resources and experiences that have helped you the most in preparing and planning for life after high school. On a similar note, we'd like to ask Iris, Joanna, and Olivia, who in particular, who has supported you to plan or prepare for life after high school? We can start with Iris, and then go to Joanna, and then Olivia.
So for me, someone who has helped me tremendously in my life to prepare and plan for after high school is my uncle. He was the first person in my mom's family to go to a university and make use of his degree. He went to the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign, and he now works there. And he just has really helped me with everything, like school and life, because we are so close because of our ages. And it was really helpful to have him, especially now, junior year, when I have so many questions about after high school and what I'm supposed to do even during high school. And so he has really helped me understand that I need to look for a school where I will be comfortable and make sure that I have a school that is right for me, and just look for a school that will provide me with the things that I need to succeed in my life.
One of the people or one of the persons that has helped me has been my mom and my dad. They have been very supportive in trying to help me be successful for school. I'm going to be the first to graduate high school in my family and going to college. And for them, that's very important, especially my dad. Like, I have five siblings, and none of them have graduated high school and have actually dropped out. So it has been challenging because I have kind of had this idea like, oh, what if things get tough and I end up being like them? But as time has gone on, they have been very supportive and have encouraged me to keep going even when times are tough, because at the end it's only going to benefit me to graduate high school and go to college. So they have been very crucial part in me continuing high school and deciding to go to college. And I would also say the Shoe Scholar program, all the staff members here, they have been amazing in helping all the Schuler scholars here in North Chicago Community High School in our grades, like school, anything, activities. They have encouraged us to try new things and talk to our teachers, reach out for help. They have also provided us with tutoring and many other resources. And I would say because of them, I am as successful as I am now.
My brother has been such a supportive person throughout my life. He's only like 2 years older than me. He's in college right now, and he has so many scholarships that he's not paying a cent out of pocket for it. And that's incredibly inspirational to me that he's worked so hard and done so well that he's able to be so successful. And he's always helped me to try to figure out what I want to do and how I'm going to achieve those things because he wants that success for me as well. And I really look up to him. And so he has supported me throughout my entire high school experience, even with mental health issues and with COVID and everything. But also my mother, as I said earlier, she has been my biggest support system, and she's always inspired me to do what I enjoy and to do what I dream of, no matter how outlandish it may seem. Um, and I've really appreciated that with my family being so inspirational and so supportive of me all the time. But also my freshman history teacher, Mr. Geraci, was just probably my favorite teacher that I've ever come across. He supported me in ways that I couldn't even imagine a teacher could, and became not just a teacher, but a confidant and a friend. And he has offered to write me recommendation letters whenever I need it, whether it be for colleges or work. And I appreciate those so much, and they've always been very supportive of me and my hopes and aspirations.
Thank you all for sharing how you've been supported to plan for life after high school and who has supported you throughout that process. To finish off, we would like to provide you all the opportunity to share any last words with the audience. So what would you like to share with educational administrators, counselors, and educators overall on how they can support students through these tough times to prepare for life after high school? We'll start with Corel, then Joshua, Iris, Joanna, and Olivia.
I believe that a way that counselors or like administrators and educators can help with like preparing students for life after high school is kind of making it known that like it's okay to not have a set path, and it's okay if like your path changes or like what you see for the future for yourself like changes, and that it's important for these like administrators or adults to kind of just like have all the opportunities available so that if it does change, like it's fine. You don't want to go to college, you want to go to the military. Here's like a workshop for how to get into like the military. Like here's a person that you can interview and things like that. Oh, do you want to do like a 2-year college or like an internship? Like here are all the resources for whatever path you choose. Because I feel like from talking to my peers, they kind of get stuck. They're like, okay, well, what if I feel like I don't want to go to college, then if adults aren't like open with like talking to students about having these other choices, and students might feel like if they're not taking the typical college course, then they aren't doing like the right thing for their future, or like they're not preparing correctly. And I feel like just having that like mentality like dismissed is very important.
Yeah, so for me, I think that from what I've seen and from my experience and from what I've observed from my peers, I think reassuring students that they don't need to know what they want to pursue or major in college or anything is super important, because a lot of students that I've seen, they want to go to college, but they don't know what they want to major in or pursue. And so they just feel like giving up, or they will end up giving up. And so I feel like if if we can have like the support system of like that reassurance that we all need at some point, and like um, letting them know that they don't need to know what they want to do now, and that they're even that they're not alone, that there's other students in the same boat as them is really important, and yeah.
Yeah, I agree definitely that making sure that us students know that we aren't alone and that a lot of us really don't know what we're going to do after high school is very important, so that we don't feel alone and don't feel like we're supposed to know everything, because honestly, none of us know anything, especially for life after high school. But I think something uh, schools could start doing, and I know my school is starting to do this, is have more one-on-ones or small groups with counselors, especially like after like college counselors, and really talk to students and ask them if they have any questions. And that way it's not in large groups and students aren't afraid to ask questions because they might be uncomfortable in large groups, um, like first generations or people who truly have no idea what they're going to do after high school. And that way everyone is expressing their opinions and getting their questions answered.
I would say to educators to try to connect your students more, ask them about their day, how they're doing, or just try striking up a conversation. When I was going through a lot of the tough things I was going through, having teachers talk to me or notice things I had done in assignments or school activities made me feel noticed, like I was important. So yeah, that's what I would say. To reach out to your students and connect with them more. At the end of the day, it's just gonna make them feel like someone cares about them, and that's important. Especially with going back in person, a lot of us did not practice our social skills, so having a teacher talk to us would really make a kid's day.
As most of us said, it's that sympathy and understanding that educators connect with their students is just such a crucial part of development in a academic career. And just to understand that these students are going through very hard times, not only academically, but in their personal lives. I mean, this is the hardest time that they've ever had at this point. And these are supposed to be the best years of your life. So try to help them experience that. Listen to the students, understand what they're going through, understand what they're saying, understand what they're feeling. Have sympathy and have empathy to help bring these new generations into the world prepared to flourish and thrive and become functioning members of society. Um, this is where the rest of their lives are going to be determined. And your actions are directly affecting them in every way, every single day. So something as simple as meeting up with them and asking them about what their weekend was or what their plans are in the future, or helping them to find those resources that are available to them that they don't know about. Because, I mean, you're the educator, that's part of your job. And I think that using those resources will help to make a lot of students much, much more successful.
Thank you all for sharing your insight and your perspectives. Um, I feel like I always pick up something interesting and something new when hearing from students, so I really appreciate that. Um, we have some time, and I'm looking at the chat, and a question that just overall came up with, how is that supportive relationship with your high school, college counselor, they might call them post-secondary coach. They might be called various things across the state in schools. But how is that supportive relationship with your college counselor? And this is just overall for anyone to answer. And I know you guys slightly spoke about this already, but just wanted to give everyone the opportunity to chime in on that. I see your hand up, Corel.
Yeah, I can say a little something about that. So at my school, at Emerson Township High School, counselors really do a lot, and they do like their best to try to support their students, such as sending out, we have like a Google Classroom. So they send out like information on Google Classroom streams, and then they meet with students like sometimes in the counselor like cohort pod. But the thing is, there's a lot of students at my school, and there's like 20 something counselors. The counselors are like assigned by grade. So from freshman year, I always heard it said, make a good relationship with your counselor. It is so important to get those counselor recommendations, everything. But the reality is, it is so hard just because there's so many of us that they need to like take into account, that they need to support, and thinking of them as like people, there's only so much that they as people like can do. And so the support that I've had from my counselor has been not any fault from theirs, but has been very like to the point, like minimal, this is what you need to do, bam, bam, bam. It's up to you to like, okay, my counselor sent this, let me go see it, let me go click on it, let me see what I need to do and all that stuff. You're not gonna really get that like one-on-one, hey Kara, how you doing? Here's like a thing I sent you, let's walk through it together and things like that. That's not really possible just like with the numbers. But I really think that they are like trying their best. It's just like hard. And also on the side of like students don't really go up to their counselors and don't really try to like engage or create those relationships. Like for me, I did my best. Like I went after school to my counselor's office. So like now we know each other on like a name basis, and we're kind of like cool. So I have a good relationship with my counselor. That's definitely not like the common, like widespread reality.
Thank you, Corel, for sharing. Joanna, would you like to share?
Yeah, for me in my school, it's kind of different for me personally because I have a Schuler counselor, but I also have a school counselor for North Chicago Community High School. And I think the difference between both is that with Schuler, our college counselor actually reaches out to us a lot, and we have one-on-one meetings every week. We could choose bi-weekly or weekly. But with our school counselors that the school offers, you kind of just have to reach out yourself. They rely, or it's more so based on you. You have to go reach out to your counselor. You have to do the work. You have to ask the questions and come up with the questions and just whatever, it's not like they hold sessions and stuff like that, like information meetings about different post-secondary options and how to get there. But I feel like there's still so many students who might not know how to get to their dream career, like what majors they are in college that you'd be interested in. There are so many things that students are interested in that it makes them feel like they don't even know what they want to pursue anymore. So I feel like it should be something to consider, to try to get counselors to reach out more to students, kind of connect with them more, instead of it just being solely based on the student reaching out. Because I think that students have their own things to focus on too. Sometimes meeting with our counselors is just kind of at the back of our mind. It's like the last thing on our priority list. And I feel like it's very important for counselors to reach out to us.
Thank you, Joanna. Anyone else like to share on this topic?
I can add something really quickly. So yeah, in my school, we've definitely had more counselors not really come up to people, but like they're definitely interacting more with us. Like I'm even in my counselor's office right now, and we've just like created a lot of bonds. Especially I've seen a lot of my friends and peers go talk to their counselors a lot, and I think tomorrow and on Thursday they're going to be talking to us about post-secondary like choices that we have, and talking to us about what questions we have and things like that.
Thank you, Iris. Anyone else? Okay. Just wanted to make sure. One other question that I saw came through, which I found interesting. Have any of you taken part in a internship or work-based learning activity? And if you did this assist with your career exploration? Joanna, I see your hands up.
Yeah, I actually did an internship over the summer, and it was with Rosalind Franklin University, and we were supposed to do research in person, but because of the pandemic, they switched it to virtual. And we more so focused on doing work and learning the body systems. And I feel like that really helped me understand what college work would be like in the future if I were to pursue medicine, because you hear about how difficult being a pre-med is and studying for the MCAT and different things like that, but you never really experience that up until you go to college. And there are many colleges who don't let you switch your majors or things like that. So it can be very daunting to choose as a career path. So yeah, having that internship really helped me understand what college work would be like, because it was very rigorous, and learning a lot of subjects like in a span of 3 months was very difficult, but I managed to get through it, and it not only made me more interested in medicine, it encouraged me to pursue it and made me interested in research. Apart from just like becoming a dermatologist, I want to do research in the future on different treatments and pathologies that are out there. I feel like it just overall strengthened my passion for medicine.
That's awesome. Anyone else want to share on that topic? Oh, Joshua, I see your hands up.
Yeah, so I've done an internship and also a shadow, which was offered through my school. And I feel like, sorry.
The reality of being a student. No worries. We'll give you a
Yeah, so I feel like these experiences really helped me figure out what I would like to do. I've always had a passion for medicine, and they just, like as Joanna said, it just made me, it just encouraged me more and gave me more of a passion to pursue a healthcare career. Um, I was always interested in cardiology, but having the internship and the shadow day, it made me open to more fields. It made me interested in physical therapy, which I'd never thought I'd be interested in. And it also made me interested in things like neurology and radiology. And so it really opened up my mind in different career choices that I have. And yeah, so I feel like it really helped a lot.
Thank you, Joshua. Do any of the other three panelists want to share anything? Okay, I'll take that as sign as a no. And I didn't see any other questions come through the chat. I'm just double checking one more time. Okay. We do want to thank you all for sharing all of your experiences, what has helped, what has been challenging, how you've combated that or coping with that, and just overall any kind of insight you want to share with educators. It's always appreciative to hear from students. So, and also being open and vulnerable with some of those experiences that you all shared. As a reminder, this session was recorded, so you'll be able to check it out on the network website, or if you'd like to share with a colleague, you can always direct them to the Illinois Education Career Success Network website. This concludes our session, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of the conference. And thank you to the panelists for being here. I'm so sorry. Give me one more second. I just saw one last question. Since we have time, why not, right? The last question that I saw come through is, what would you tell an 8th grader, so someone who is in middle school, 8th grade, as they prepare for high school? What advice would you give an 8th grader? And we can go around the virtual room for this one. Just on my screen, Joshua, Corel, Joanna, Iris, and Olivia. So you can start us off, Joshua.
So one thing that I wish I had done early is figure out a schedule and stick to it. Because as you go into high school, you start taking more rigorous classes, and more rigorous classes means more homework. So you won't have a lot of time, and I feel like learning how to manage that time that you have is very important. And so yeah, just figure out a schedule, stick to it, and that's pretty much it.
I would say, looking back at my 8th grade self, I would definitely tell her to join clubs, join a lot of clubs during freshman year, because that is just how you explore. It's kind of like training for career exploration. And that kind of sounds weird, but like there's so many different student organizations offered at my school, and just because freshman year you're not taking like AP classes, you don't have these other time commitments like sports and other things like leadership positions. Freshman year is really the best time to just like explore things. So I did like a student government club and like a gardening club and like a knitting club and all these things. And over the years, I went through sophomore year and junior year. Obviously, I like cut out some of those clubs that maybe I wasn't so interested in, and I kind of honed in on the ones that, okay, this does interest me. Like I want to stay engaged in this. I want to like be better at my position in this club. And then that's super important, because if you find a club that you really do enjoy and that you're passionate about, then that's like a great thing to write about for your college app. So you can talk about why this interests you so much, like how, like what you've learned from it, like how you've grown from it. And it really shows that like, one, you're engaged with your school outside of like classes, you're engaged with your community, you have like passions that you care about, you have goals that you want to reach and that you're willing to work towards to reach. All of this like while maintaining your grades and while doing your classes. So definitely student organizations are very, very important, especially if you can get a leadership position in those.
I would say to an 8th grader to try new things. Try whatever you're interested in, because when I was an 8th grader, I did not do any activities at all. Like after school, it wasn't until freshman year that I really tried. More so because my parents were strict and they didn't let me stay after school. But I finally got that freedom, and meeting new people through those clubs and activities, it was so freeing because I finally got to meet people like that have shared interests as me, and I got to learn what I was interested in. I tried many sports like wrestling, track, realized those weren't for me. And like recently I've tried weightlifting and I really love that. Other activities that I've done was like student council. I had no idea what student council was like, and here I am. I'm the president now. So yeah, like try new things. Like you never know where it's gonna lead to, and you might find like a career that is like Carol said. Like you might be able to do some career exploration and find what you're really interested in.
Yeah, I agree completely. I would say join a lot of clubs. Just like Joanna, I had no idea what student council was, and now I'm the co-president. And so that has been really great, as well as join clubs that you have no idea what they're about. I joined on NJROTC because my teacher told me he would take me to Hawaii. Still hasn't happened, but I'm hoping. But yeah, it turns out I really love NJROTC, and I honestly have no interest in going into the military. But it's just an amazing class to be in, an amazing club as well. And yeah, I would say join clubs and just make new friends. Like, you're not gonna be friends with the same people you've been friends with since 6th grade or 8th grade. And so it's just gonna be an amazing experience to meet new people and find your true interests and like people. And yeah, it's just gonna be an amazing experience.
I think that as important as it is to cultivate your academic resume, have fun, because my time when I wasn't, joining clubs or going to sporting games, football, basketball, whatever, was so boring. And I met some of my favorite people and my best friends at those places. And those are the things that are going to help to inspire you to want to do better. And being around those people that you enjoy, and those are the places that you're going to meet them, is at these things that you're going to be able to take pride in your school. And I think that trying to have fun while still, being professional about your academic career is really, really important. Obviously, don't go partying every single night, but I think it is important to try to have a little bit of fun to keep things light, because it can get very, very stressful when you're going through high school. From going into high school to having to choose a college can all be very stressful. So try to let yourself enjoy the time that you're there.
The importance of decompressing. Yes. Thank you for sharing that and ending it with that. Thank you all. Thank you all for sharing your experiences, your insights, and your wisdom with everyone in the conference today. So we greatly appreciate it. That concludes this session. And yes, thank you, everyone. Bye.